All right, Adam Trigger here, strikeout prop winner yesterday in this segment with Spencer Arrighetti going over the 6.5 strikeouts at plus money. Connor Griffin wasn't in the lineup, so a no play there, but a winning day on under the radar yesterday, and we're going to look to do it again today. I also won for clients yesterday, 2-0. Red Sox get it done, and then we cash another AAA winner. AAA baseball. I'm the only one doing it. The only way you can get it is as part of my all access service. And it is the biggest edge I think I have probably in any sport anywhere. And also, people keep asking me, Trig, how do we bet AAA? Where do we play it? It's probably as available as I've ever seen it. So many books are offering this now. You have, I'll just name a few of them. Bet Online, someone that Wager Talk has promoted over the years as a great book, has had it forever and still offers it. It's in, depending on what state you're in. I'm down in Florida for a little while right now. Hard Rock offers it here. When I was in Indiana at the Final Four a couple weeks ago, all the legals offered it there. The DraftKings, the FanDuels, CEO, whoever else is in that state was on all of them. So it varies state to state, but it is out there. And is it going to maybe be a little bit more effort than the major markets? Yes, but it's well worth it. Let's put it this way. Check your books. It might be listed under AAA. It might be listed under MILB, East and West, International League, Pacific Coast League. It is out there, and you're missing out if you're not playing it. And the only way you can play it, you can get those picks from me. I don't put individual AAA picks up for sale. They will only be on my all access package, which is on sale right now as a 2-for-1 with Tokyo Brandon or Brian Leonard, as well as a buy 3, get 3 days free. That's up on my page as well. All right. Yesterday we talked about Rockies Astros. I'm going to head back there because there's only a couple of games tonight. So only 3 night games tonight. And we've talked about, I believe we talked about the other 2 on total basis. So check out the replay of total basis for that. But let's talk about Rockies Astros, because I think I have another pitcher prop that's going to cash here. And that's, we're going to focus on Ryan Weiss, who gets the start for the Astros. So yesterday, Spencer Arrighetti, 10 strikeouts. His pitcher over prop was it was over 6.5 at plus 105. Arrighetti hits that easily, strikes out 10 Rockies. And I'll say it again, the Rockies striking out more against right-handed pitching than any team in the league. Excuse me. At least it's been the case most of the year. And they're probably right back up in first in that regard after last night. 10 strikeouts against Arrighetti. I don't see why that wouldn't play again here. The only thing that's different is Ryan Weiss comes in and he hasn't had much success in the big leagues this year. So I'm going to try to reason out why I think that's the case and why I think you shouldn't be that worried about it. And also why I think that Ryan Weiss over 4.5 strikeouts at minus 105, minus 110, where it is right now, is a great bet. So the other reason you're going to get some Rockies shade right here, where the Astros is actually probably a little bit of value in this game. And then, of course, with Ryan Weiss props, is the fact that the Rockies blew up Weiss a couple weeks ago during the series out at Coors Field. But, he's couple things. One, he's been a starter for the last 2 years in the KBO with the Hanwha Eagles, accustomed to getting the ball every 5th day and being a starter. As far as I knew, the plan was for him to be a starter in the Astros organization. I didn't think we'd see him at the big league level yet. I figured he would be down in Sugarland, pitching every 5th day and being a starter, but the Astros have just been crippled by pitching injuries, and Weiss actually made the opening day roster. They just decided to use him as a bullpen arm. So again, he might not be as comfortable coming out of the pen. He hasn't really been a reliever in a couple of years. So it's possible it just wasn't working out from that standpoint. And then the other thing is he's really only had one bad outing, and that was in Denver at Coors Field at altitude. And, you start to think back, Weiss was I believe he was in Taiwan for a minute before coming to Korea. In Korea, like that's not really any crazy altitude over there. And he was there for most of the last 2 seasons. And he was a guy that kind of fizzled out at the double A level. So Ryan Weiss never really made it to he did make it to triple A, I believe with Omaha for a minute in the Royals organization, but he wasn't there very long. And you start to look at where some of these double A clubs are located. Just I don't really think you start to hit sort of altitude unless you played college ball or something out in that part of the country. But like really the first big time exposure you have to like altitude is typically either at the AAA level, playing places like Salt Lake, Albuquerque, big time altitude there, or when you get to the big leagues against the Rockies. And it's why, you kind of look for these people, these players that are playing in altitude for their very first time. And you just have to wonder if Weiss, did he even, I'm sure he knew he was an option the game he pitched, but of course he comes in relief. And he may have just not been accustomed to the altitude from a standpoint of how it makes the ball feel, what it does to the ball, how it makes you feel. I remember the first time I was in Denver for a week, and even when I went back to Telluride a couple years ago for a week, the altitude kicked my butt those first few days. I could barely walk up the stairs. Telluride's, of course, much higher altitude. But the point is, you look at 5 outings for Weiss. You take all these things into consideration. The fact that he hadn't really pitched out of the bullpen for a couple of years. Maybe his first, the only bad one being like when he got bombed by this Rockies team, but at Coors Field. And then the fact that, he's, of course, coming back from the KBO where he was a starter every single day, every 5th day. Like, he just was accustomed to, being the guy and going out and getting the ball every 5th day. Possible that, he's had a little time, it's been a tougher acclimation for him, to life back in the States, coming out of the bullpen, so on and so forth. Now he gets the start, and I think it's going to be a great spot for him. I think he always expected to be starting games. I don't know if he expected to be starting right away for the Astros, but again, he probably expected to be in the Sugarland rotation. And, this is a guy last year, remember, he was nasty in KBO, 207 strikeouts in 178.2 innings pitched for the Hanwha Eagles. The Rockies strike out a ton against right-handed pitching, and he's got a good fastball that's gotten strikeouts so far this year out of the bullpen. He's gotten swing and miss on the fastball. I think he's going to get his 5 strikeouts, no problem here. And I wouldn't be surprised if he actually pitches pretty good. And here's the thing that we talked about yesterday with Arrighetti. The Astros they don't have much bullpen at all right now. So if a guy is pitching well, they're probably going to ride him as far as they can. And I think that they will ask for length here out of Weiss if he can give that to them. So I'm not even worried about the score. Because maybe the Rockies do get some hits. Maybe they take him deep a couple times. I don't care about that. I just want my 5 strikeouts. We got him yesterday with Arrighetti, and I think we're going to get the over 4.5, 5 or more with Ryan Weiss here. I've got client plays up on my page. I'll be adding some AAA for later. I'm also betting KBO. I've only made 2 KBO plays so far this season, but it's a league I expect to be active in. I've just a more selective approach, and I've wrote about it a little bit, but you probably will see those start to come a little bit more frequently. At any rate, I'm number 2 on the site in the year of 2026 so far with 48 units of profit. Shout out to whoever's number 1. I don't know who that is. We only know where we stand, but I'll tell you right now, I'm coming for you. So let's just try to keep cashing tickets. 2-0 yesterday. Let's have another great day today. That was Under the Radar. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. And don't forget Total Bases, 9 a.m. Eastern on the Wager Talk YouTube.